Y'all watching the Real Great Killer Show. Yeah.
Yeah, baby, that's right. Real Greg Kelly back in the building, baby. Y'all need to expect nothing more than something epic. Buckle your seatbelts, America. We get ready to dig in, baby. RGKS style. Yeah. I see you, Mile High. I see you, baby. Thanks for being here tonight. Hey, we Americans, man, we don't know how to do nothing but strive and survive, baby. We are the resistance. You hear me? We are the resistance. Stand up, America. We the resistance.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
All right, y'all. Your boy out of YouTube jail. That had me locked up, man. Again, locked up. Guess I said the wrong thing. Welcome back, baby. Welcome back. I see y'all in the chat. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Welcome back to the Real Greg Kelly Show, aka Real Cold Facts, with none other than my co-host, the Angry Snowman. I tell you guys, we are in for one hell of a ride in this country right now. One hell of a ride. I just want to make sure we are prepared. The only way to stop from being slaves is to refuse to be slaves. That means you got to stand up. That means you have to be the resistance in America. I believe that's who we are. I believe that's in our DNA. America first. Y'all already know the deal. Tonight, we are going to take a look at some of the issues that nobody's talking about in mainstream media at all. Not even close. But before we get into it, before we set things off, before we launch out from the cockpit, I want to acknowledge you, all of you who come over to support. I'm gonna start with the family. Nick and Tay, salute. Got nothing but love for y'all, man. Anna Rodriguez is in the house. Mile High Ronin. I think that's Mile High Ronin. If I can see. Want to give a shout out to those watching that are not in the chat. I understand. Tay is in the building. Tay is in the building. Let's get ready to ride. Snowman gonna be a little late as usual. We already know about the snowman, but I want to make something abundantly clear here before we dive into this tonight. We are not intimidated by our adversaries. I don't give a damn who you are. If you over here with RGKS, we freedom people. We live in Freedom Palace. This is our house. We ain't running from nobody. I just want y'all to know that. Whoever you are, whatever your agenda might be, we're not ducking, we're not hiding. You can call us what you want to call us. We just don't give a damn. If you understand that we just don't give a damn, put a 1 in the chat. We do not care. What we do care about is America. We care about the state of this country. We care about what direction this country is going in. And we care about you. We care about each other also. I just wanted to make that known. We're not taking a knee to the YouTube trolls or the haters. We welcome you. You might actually learn something over here. The midterms are over, at least kind of, sort of. We don't really know what's going to come down the pipe in the next couple of days or anything like that. But we're going to continue to state our claim, man. You know, America is going to be first in this country, and we're going to have to fight for it. I don't want anybody to be, confused about it. Like, it's not going to come easy. My fellow Americans. Cyber Toxin is in the building. Good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. It's not going to come easy. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. And what I do want to say also, don't think that we're going to overcome our enemies if we can look within ourselves and find enemies. If you think the man beside you or the woman beside you is an enemy, you don't belong here. We seek to make peace, but those that want war, you can have it. But we seek to make peace over here. That's just what it is. That's how we live. That's how we carry it. Not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but that's just what we do here. We believe in that process of weeding out everything that needs to be weeded out. So I just wanted to put that out there to my fellow Americans. Like, all we have is each other. And if we don't know that all we have is each other, we are in bigger trouble than we could ever imagine. Salute to the family. Listen, I'm telling you guys, what we're going to do tonight is going to be fun. It's going to be epic, as always. And we got some things coming. I want to give a shout out to AC. I don't see him in the chat yet, but Angry Conservative has been working behind the scenes trying to set things up for people like me and Snowman, and what we're trying to embark on a new journey with the Real Cold Facts podcast. And the brother just put in so much work, man. I just want to give him a shout out for the work that he puts in behind the scenes. He doesn't even want any credit for it. The brother creates websites for us. He's creating new platforms, new opportunities, new avenues for us to get the media out. And, if you guys haven't taken the time, make sure when you see him, make sure you give that brother A strong, hard American salute. Strong one. American salute. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out. Angry conservative. Nothing but love for you, brother. Nothing but love for you over here, man. Appreciate what you do. Without further ado, I just wanted to set the tone to make sure everybody understood where we're coming from. The Real Greg Kelly Show starts now. All right, we getting ready to jump into this. Okay, so we understand that there is some type of confusion going on in the world today about old Trump and his position against Ron DeSantis. But I want to take the time to share something with you if you haven't seen this yet. Robert Kiyosaki, he's one of the financial giants in our country. He's not American by birth. I think he's Japanese. And he's going to share something with us tonight that I'm going to share with you. Risen Ability is in the house. AC, I see you, baby. I see you. He's going to share something with us tonight about ESG. And I want everybody to get a taste of the truth. Just a little taste of the truth. I want to give a shout out to all my brothers and sisters serving this country also. I salute you, man. All my brothers that were lost in the fight. I know I had some guy come to me and say, hey, Greg, your Memorial Day is for the fallen. Oh, yeah, I know. But they still veterans and they're still alive in the spirit. They're alive in the spirit of this country. They're alive in the spirit of the human beings that remember them. And so on Veterans Day, I just want you to know, I salute the fallen also, because no matter how you look at it, no matter how you shake it up, baby, they still veterans in my eyes. So shout out to my fallen brothers. Shout out to my brothers and my sisters and my daughter serving this country. She's a Marine also. I salute you, girl. I salute all of y'all. So without further ado, we're going to get into this. Robert Kiyosaki talking about the issues that America's faced with that nobody else wants to talk about, man. But I want to make sure that you guys are up to speed on what's coming down the barrel. Now, remember, I told y'all Snowman late as hell, as always. So I'm hoping that after we go through this first clip, that maybe the Snowman will be able to join us. ESG. ESG. If you don't know what ESG is, I'm hoping that after this short clip here, it's about 13 minutes long, that you'll be a little more familiar with what mainstream media has in store for us, the people. So again, without further ado, Robert Kiyosaki talking to the American people and all people all over the world, by the way, because this social credit score is being, the social credit score is actually, this method of finance is being applied all over the world because of the World Economic Forum. And I want you to be up to speed on this. I want you to know this for yourself and be able to share this with your family, share this with your friends. If you have not liked the channel, please give me a thumb. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider giving me a sub. I'm not the best. I want to be the best, but one thing is for sure. Hey, Joanne, I see you, girl. Oh, God, I can't remember this young lady's names. Odds, I think that's what it is. Wizard Abilities in the building. Again, I'm all about giving you information. I don't want to sit around and gossip about other people, even though I do it. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. I get caught up in it sometimes, but for the most part, I want to give you guys something that you can ingest and utilize in your everyday life, and things that you can use as weapons against our adversaries. I think that's important as a patriot, as a freedom lover, and as a brother to you. So without further ado, Robert Kiyosaki, Japanese millionaire, giving us some education, some information about what's coming down the pipe. You're watching The Real Greg Kelly Show. I really hope you guys enjoy this.
I simply don't trust my government, especially this character, Biden. And I don't trust the Fed. I don't trust the banks. And I don't trust Wall Street. So it's pretty simple philosophy. If you can print it, I don't want it. So if you can print the dollar, I don't want it. You can print a stock, I don't want it. You know, I want something I can see, touch, and feel what's real. Find out what's real. You know, Marx said, this is 1848, it's only about 50 pages. He said communism would come in two phases. And the first phase was 1930s. This was 1848. He said communism would come in two phases. So 1930, the Berlin school sent teachers to Columbia University to teach the Columbia University teachers program. And that's when communism entered America as socialism. And I was in school in New York in the 60s, and that's when the first rioting broke out at Columbia University, which spread across the country. And then the second phase happened, in my opinion, in 2020, when social media shut down the president of the United States. And that's the loss of our freedom of speech there. I just don't understand our loss of freedoms, and we say nothing about it. So my point of view is communism entered America via our school system. I'm just concerned about our country and the world, especially this guy Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, and what the hell are they doing? Why aren't we fighting back? If you look at history, the facts are America was founded as a tax revolt, 1773, I believe, Boston Tea Party. It was a tax revolt. We're not a slave nation. You know, to say we're a systemically racist country is the biggest lie possible. You know, I mean, there are racists, granted, but we're not systemically racist. And that's why I fight now. And that's why I said I better say something, because I went to military school. I fought in Vietnam twice, and I fight for freedom, and they're taking our freedoms away. Well, I say the same thing. A couple of questions. What does school teach you about money? And the answer is nothing. I keep saying the same thing. Put yourself on the gold standard. You know, don't wait for the federal government to go back on the gold standard. You know, start buying some gold and silver coins and keep it in a safe, and don't tell anybody you have it. But put yourself on your own gold and silver standard. Of course, I would vote for him, but I'm afraid that he might be too divisive, but I would vote for him. That's my answer. The reason he and I got together, you know, that ESG, environmental, social governance, we got together as S, social. We got together because, you know, with this book here, the gap between rich and poor is too wide. And then in 2016, he ran for president. He went from E to S to G. And now he's in governance. And that's a dirty, 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 dirty game. So I hope he runs. I would vote for him. But I think it'll divide this country even worse. My poor dad was a PhD, which stands for poor, helpless, and desperate. And they believe that their credentials, they believe a higher degree, like a master's or doctorates, will save them from the world. So their values are different. Whereas you and I and other people say, well, let's learn about money. Let's learn about finance. But in the academics world, is I have a PhD and I'm smarter than you. That's the set. It's different value systems. So values are core to the individual. And unfortunately, we all don't come from the same set of values. And most school teachers are different from us. They're good people. Like my poor dad's a good man, but he was a Marxist. He believed in taxation and the abolition of private property and labor unions. Put yourself on a gold standard and silver standard. The hard, either start with one silver coin is what, $20, or one gold coin is about 2,000. But put yourself on a gold and silver standard because they're still real money. And that was just, and it's now tier one, according to the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, which Andy Schechtman talks about. It was moved from gold was moved from tier 3 to tier 1, which means gold is money.
Is this the beginning of the end of that system being able to keep printing to save us?
Well, there's people much smarter than me who say that. I think Biden could be the most destructive president in history. And the reason is, as soon as he came in, he again took off the Keystone XL pipeline, and oil went from $30 a barrel to $130. He destroyed the middle class. And my concern is when he did that, that's what those guys like Stalin, Hitler, and Mao did. History will repeat. What Biden is doing is a communist. He's an academic type. He and Obama are communists. They're not bad people, but I sincerely think they're doing the right thing. So when you ask the question, I see this coming up right now all the time, is investing as ESG. And this is a woke movement type of thing. E stands for environmental, S stands for social, and G stands for governance. So I stay out of the governance side. I invest in the environment. I took a company public that's on Toronto selling carbon credits because these guys here are going to force every stock, to comply, which is communism. So if you're a steamship company, you have to buy carbon credits. So I sell carbon credits to these companies that have a dirty footprint. But Rich Dad is here, social. All I care about is this growing gap between the rich and poor, because history will prove we're heading for revolution. If you look at history, who murdered the most people in history? Communists. Stalin, Mao, Hitler. And that's what's going to happen. You guys have this guy here, Boris.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson. Well, we have Boris Biden. It can't get much worse. In 1965, I read this book here. So I go to military school. I think 100% of my teachers were men, not women. And there's a very big difference on the way men teach men and women teach men. And so one of the things going on today, this is off the subject, but socioeconomically, more men are raised by single moms today. And the reason for that is back when in history, if you are a mom with a kid and you had a husband that wasn't making it, it was better for you to divorce him so the government would take care of you. So what happened back in the 50s and 60s was that the government became the parent because it supported the mothers. Just recently, it was all over the news in America, the US Army cannot find men, soldiers. 1 out of 4 18-year-olds cannot qualify to meet the Army's needs. 1 out of 4 teenage boys. One of the most powerful books ever written. But the trouble is most school teachers haven't read the book. That they don't know they're Marxists. They're not bad people, please hear me. You call somebody a commie, that's not the best thing to do. But economics, as you know, is kind of a philosophy. So it's like Christianity is different than Buddhism or Hinduism or Muslim. So economics is kind of a economic religion, to keep it simple. So when you read Marx, most academics, like my poor dad, who was a PhD from Stanford University, was a Marxist, but they don't know it. They're not bad people. They're not bad people, but without financial education, they got no choice. They believe in labor unions. They believe in the tax to rich. They believe the abolition of private property. That's all Marx. If you read this book here, it's in here. I wrote the Capitalist Manifesto in response to the Communist Manifesto. And actually, I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad in response to the Communist Manifesto, answering the question, Why don't we teach money at school? It's not a mistake, Brian. It's not a mistake. Because what Marx predicted has come true. 1848. Okay? He said communism would take over America specifically, or the capitalist world, in 2 stages. So stage 1 happened in 1930. In 1930, the Frankfurt School out of Berlin sent teachers to Columbia University Teachers College. That was in 1930. So communism invaded America through our teacher system. And that's why most teachers are Marxists, like my poor dad. Not bad people, you know, right. They think they're doing the right thing, but they don't know how to make money. They want a pension, they want all the benefits and all that other stuff. They belong to labor unions. And what Marx says was, workers of the world unite, join a labor union. Well, my rich dad was anti-labor, and my poor dad was the head of the teachers union. But the biggest problem today, again, is we have no financial education in our schools. But this is what's worse. I'm in New York City, 65 to 69, studying oil. I drove tankers for Standard Oil. I invest in oil wells today. I don't investigate in oil stocks. I want the real stuff. You know, the Fed cannot print oil. So when Biden took the Keystone Pipeline XL, whatever it is, off the list, oil went from $30 a barrel to $130 a barrel in a few days. So in other words, inflation went through the roof. It wiped out the middle class and the poor. But a guy like me who invests in oil wells, not oil stocks, I made so much money, because when the price of oil went up to 130 today, I think it's 105. I'm creaming it right now. Unfortunately, it's killing the poor and middle class, because they can't put gas in the car, they can't buy groceries, and then they can't afford to shop. So I see all the clothes on sale everywhere and all this. And that's what's predicted in here. That's how I see the world from very economic point of view, but real economics. I'm a pessimistic capitalist. I say there's the 5 G's, you know. Number 1 is you must own gold or silver, you know, something precious metals. Real, not paper, no ETFs. Real physical gold. Number 2 is ground. So gold, ground, second G, real estate, gas, grub, food. I don't tell people what to do. I share with people what I do in real life. Like, I don't have any stocks, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't have any stocks. I mean, I have stocks that I created in my own public companies, but not everybody's going to do that. I live deeply in debt, but I know how to use debt to get rich, because debt is money. That's what happened in 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. The US dollar became debt, and that's created the biggest bubble going. So that's why they have, you know, QE and all this. They just keep printing more money. 40% of all money was printed in the last 2 years. Why do we have inflation? Oil and M2, money supply. It's huge, and it's crashing. I stay out of politics. That's governance. I'm more concerned about the social. I'm very, very concerned about this growing gap between rich and poor. I feel for the poor, you know, the working class. And the thing that disturbs me is what Biden did. He made life harder for them. That's communism. And those are the people that revolt, because without financial education, they don't understand it's the printing of money, but the intentional cause of inflation. They didn't have to raise the oil prices. So Biden blames Putin. We did it ourselves. America has plenty of oil, but they raised the price on it. They ship reserve oil to China. I don't listen to what Biden says. I just watch what he does. He's a Marxist. So was Obama. But they're good people, if you know what I mean. They just have different beliefs than you and me. I don't believe in giving people money. I believe in teaching them. And that's S. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man a fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Okay. Wow. The power of a financial education in America. Y'all are watching the Real Greg Kelly Show. We need to know about money. We need to know about money. So I would love to know your thoughts on Robert Kiyosaki's philosophy, if you will. Please lace the chat with your comments. I want to know what your thoughts are. I want to know what you are thinking about what you just saw and heard. I think it's important. So, is it true? Is America really a slave nation? I mean, this is what the mainstream media wants to tell us. We're a slave nation. Nation that thrives on slavery or the enslavement of the free. My sister Mary's in the building. How you doing, sis? Good to see you tonight. A slave nation. Is America a slave nation? If you think America is a slave nation, please put a 1 in the chat. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know if you think absolutely and unequivocally that America is a slave nation. Well, that's a tough statement there. The Angry Conservative says America is a slave nation. He puts a 1 in the chat. Anybody else think that America is a slave nation? I'm not seeing any slaves around here lately, but you may see slaves. And if you see America is a slave nation, put a 1 in the chat, please. I'm with you, Point Fire. I believe that we're coming to it. I don't believe we're there now. I believe America is trying to recreate the slave, using slavery of the past to ignite fires that should have been long ago put out. Especially when it comes to African Americans. Okay? The truth of the matter is, African Americans aren't slaves at all in this country. Unless you believe so. I like what the book of Proverbs says. Whatever a man thinks, that's what he is. Angry Conservative says that he sees the working class as the slaves of the elites. Well, the working class works for themselves. The elite actually benefit from it because they're the corporate owners. But as long as you're getting a wage for your labor, you're not a slave. Slavery is the byproduct of you just being forced to labor with no pay, and you just live off the subsidies of the government, whatever the government gives you. At least in my opinion. If your opinion varies or difference, you have differences of opinion, I respect it. Yeah, I'm all for that. Absolutely, 100%. I'm going to bring the alpha dog in the building himself, the snowman.
Yo, what it do?
Yo. What's up? I don't know if you caught all of that, but
I caught everything in your monologue that you just did, and I caught a good portion of the video that you were showing.
Okay, good.
Actually, I've watched a couple of that guy's documentaries.
Oh, Kiyosaki?
Yeah.
Oh, he's my dude, brother.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Yeah, he's a very brilliant man when it comes to financial advising, and he's actually been advising people to get away from this fake paper money debt system for probably the last 15, 20 years now.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's really been ahead of his time on this one.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, he even actually predicted what happened with that FTX cryptocurrency.
Yes, he did.
You know, he said what was about 5 years ago when Bitcoin started getting real big, that people that were actually liquidating their assets and putting it all into crypto were going to lose their behinds before and weren't going to be able to recover from it because crypto is crazy, dude. If you think about it, it's fake. They're literally, you don't even have anything physical in your hand.
Yeah.
To say that you have anything, it's all fake. It's all something projected on your computer screen, and that's it.
Digital currency, which means if I can produce it on a digital phase, a scale, I can delete it also.
But yeah, before I get too deep, man, I'll shout out everybody. What's up, AC? What's up, Mayor? Point Fire, Joker, Mile High Ronin. What's up, my dog?
Now, hi.
Who else we got up in here today?
Oh, don't ignore that comment that I put on the screen for you.
I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing. What's up, Cyber? Nick? I'm sure Taylor's in here hiding somewhere. Miss Anna Rodriguez, how you doing?
You know.
Risen, what's up, brother? Glad to see you up in here today. Maybe me and you can sit and argue a little bit as the stream's going on, since you like to sit and poke at the bear, so to speak. Every time I see you. Point Fire, what's up, my brother? My brother from another mother up there in Canada. But yeah, man, what was that comment? Why is Snowman always late?
Yeah.
How about AC? Why don't you mind my business? Mind my business, buddy. Mind my business. You know, I'm a busy man. I have kids. And that's all I'm going to say. I have kids.
The cheering. Look, let's jump into this. All right. So he made a few statements and I wrote them down. So he said communism entered America through the school system. What are your thoughts on that?
I think communism was already in America, but you know, it's funny that he says that, because I had a discussion with my father-in-law about this very thing, and it was after reading the book The Mind of Hitler. And it was a book that I borrowed from him, and it caused me to have, dude, it was like just a thought that blew up in my mind. If you think about it and you look at what happened after World War II, me and you've talked about this before. If you look at what happened after World War II, America was funding both sides at the beginning of it, you know?
Right.
So they legitimately had, you know, capital invested either way. So either way it went, we were winning.
Yeah.
All right. So after World War II ended, what'd they do? They went over there and they basically started snatching up all the head military strategists, all the head political analysts, all the head scientists, all the head leaders in education and propaganda and all this other stuff. And what they do? They brought them over to America under the guise that it was for political asylum, and that none of them were actually heads of any state over there. None of them were part of the actual Nazi regime, quote unquote. That's what they told Roosevelt, right?
That was a big lie. Yeah, it's a big lie.
And then they gave them jobs in some of the most prolific departments that our government had to offer.
Exclusive departments. We're talking,
you know, and then think about this. I honestly believe that Nazi Germany was a test run on what we see happening right now in America.
I agree. I agree on 100%. And not many will mention that, but I totally agree with that.
Well, yeah. It makes perfect sense. What they do, they went over there and they gave a madman, because Hitler was a fucking madman. He should have been in an asylum, right?
Yeah.
By all rights, anyone else would have been in an asylum. The dude was schizophrenic, for crying out loud. All right. So they give a schizophrenic power and a bunch of fucking stay awake drugs to where the man never slept.
Yeah.
And then tell him, go crazy. See how long it takes you to take over this country. And he he basically tried to force his agenda of, taking over a nation. And the American people, what our government did is they watched what happened. They paid attention and they realized that he was forcing too much too fast.
Right.
Because the algorithm wouldn't accept it. It was trying to it was denying what Hitler was doing. The algorithm, no, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. You know, so it kept pushing back. You know, the algorithm denied it so much that it caused the whole world to get involved, and it turned into a world conflict. Right?
Yeah.
So what did we do? We said, okay, well, some of the tenets of what he was doing actually worked and made sense. You saw how quickly he caused the Jays to comply with his orders, and they kowtowed and bowed down to what he said. They were scared. They were afraid of him.
Yeah, they capitalized on the whole fear factor, and
so
we see that happen. The same philosophy playing out right now in real time here.
Well, it isn't just that they did too, but he also went and he tried to change historical events. He tried to change the education system. He tried to change what everybody had learned their whole life overnight, and they wouldn't accept that, you know. So what America did, what they do, they took some of the tenets of what he did, and rather than trying to push it over us in a decade or 2 decades, they stretched it out for over almost a century.
Yeah. Long
And they
game.
started a little bit at a time, changing a few things here and there, changing the, you know, curriculum in school. Like, for example, dude, one of the things that I remember the most about being in school is I remember when communist Russia, the USSR, finally came to an end. I remember that day. I remember when the Berlin Wall was being tore down live on national television. I remember that shit. I also remember that the very next year afterwards, we got brand new social studies books.
Yeah.
And you want to know what was erased from the social studies books? Any mention of the United Soviet Socialist Republic.
Yeah.
It was never mentioned ever again. And it's simple things like that being erased and removed from your history and your social studies books that people don't realize makes a big difference, because we were taught when we were younger about communism in school. We were taught about socialism. We were taught about how evil the USSR was. That was a chapter in and of itself in our history and social studies books in school, until they removed it. You know, so they're taking away important things that show where mankind got greedy, or man himself got greedy and tried to take authoritarian control over shit, and ended up failing in the end, because the people will always eventually rise up.
Yeah,
you know, you can only poke a dog so much before that dog's going to bite your ass back, right?
That's a fact.
You
Absolutely.
know? They take that stuff out of the history books because they want people to feel as though they're backed in a corner and they have no options other than to bow down and get on their knees and comply. That's why they don't want the history book to say that people rose up and fought back and that they won.
Let me ask you this. So do you think that revolt is actually something that the establishment wants? Or is it something that they actually want to prevent? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the establishment wants civil war. The reason why I say civil war is because civil war is you and me fighting against each other because we think each other are the enemy. What they're trying to avoid is a revolution, because revolution means that you and we both rise up arm in arm, and we got our gazes fixed on the same enemy.
Right. So we're fighting for each other.
We're fighting with each other for a same common goal.
Yeah, for common enemy. Right. All right. So I got another question for the chat also. Is that odds? AUD? Is that what
that's odds? Yes. What's up, odds?
Let me make sure I get that right. All right. So we're gonna put a little disco music on as we jump into this trivia here. All right. So if Trump runs in 2024, is that something that we see as something that could further divide the country, or does it galvanize us? I want to know your thoughts in the chat. I definitely want to get what you want to, what your perspective is.
I want to know your perspective first.
And I'm going to tell you what I think about it. I think that as much as I love the dude, man, it's like, for real, the truth is,
keep it real, man.
So many people, listen, the mainstream media won the fight when it comes to, branding Donald Trump as the evil twin with G.I. Joe in them. Like, he's really the bad guy.
He's the Cobra Commander.
He's Cobra Commander all day. And I don't think there's anything he can do to redeem himself at this point. I'm just being honest, man. I don't think there's anything Trump can do to redeem himself and to make himself more likable, to more people, to the people that hate him anyway. But I would vote for him just because I just can't vote for anybody else. I could vote for DeSantis. I really could. But when it comes to whether or not voting for him would further divide the country, I got to say, yeah. I think so. I think that's a fact.
I would have to wholeheartedly agree, because the evidence is pretty sound right now. I mean, you look at the fact that he hasn't been president for 2 years?
Yeah.
And the country is still split right down the middle right down the middle as far as he is concerned. And the country, half the country still thinks that you're a racist if you wear anything red or that says MAGA on it or anything that it has any kind of remote leaning towards Trump. Anything Trump related, and you're a racist. Plain and simple, right off the rip.
I'm right there with you on that, and I wish he could redeem himself. I'm gonna need the chat to jump in on this. If you think that voting for Trump in 2024 further divides the country, I need a 1 in the chat. And if you want to come up here and tell us what your thoughts are, I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. If you want to know what
you're not gonna be able to stay, but you can come and give your perspective if that's what you so desire to do. Go ahead, still, man. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you want to know what I think that he could do that would actually help politics out and real red-blooded, freedom-loving Americans seeking and saving Americans. What the best thing is he could do?
What's that?
Let's walk away from politics altogether. The best thing he could do is walk away from politics and go back to Apprentice.
I don't know about walking away from politics.
He needs to because
he set the stage for a lot of
matter.
Even California is now red in some areas, and it's because of Trump endorsed candidates. I mean, I'm looking at it. You said it's a divide, but it's not a majority of people that really don't like the guy. I think the true red bloods actually really endorse Trump. And more so than we are willing to acknowledge. But
this is why I say what I say. If you recall, Trump didn't come. He always touted and pushed that he never came into being president because he wanted a lifetime in politics. He never wanted to be a politician. That was always that's what sold him on most Americans, was the fact that he wasn't a politician and didn't want to be a politician. He came in, he shook up the establishment. He did what he set out to do. Now go away.
I mean, I can dig that. I'm not against it. I don't see any ones or zeros in the chat. If you think that Trump running in 2024 will further divide the country, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, put a 2 in the chat.
Cyber toxin, you're fired.
Move the Apprentice, please. No. Okay.
You're fired.
I really want to know what you guys are thinking. And while you guys are responding to that, I want to make sure you got this point from Robert Kiyosaki. He said, put yourself on the gold standard. Okay? Put yourself on it. Don't wait for the government to try to reaffirm the gold standard. You put yourself on the gold standard. Anna Rodriguez. I like her.
Mile High Ronin. All hell, right wing, left wing, same bird. I've said that a billion times. Same bird, same coin, same snake, same everything. But the thing is I'm just telling you, man. I think that I understand that Trump did help some candidates, like in predominantly, traditionally Democrat areas. That he helped some of them, but in other areas he hurt. Honestly.
Yeah.
Look, the thing is that we focus on in America is we focus the majority of what goes on and what goes on out on the West Coast, what goes on the East Coast, and what goes on down in Florida and Texas, Chicago and shit like that. Everybody forgets about all of us in Middle America. Mm-hmm. Middle America really isn't represented at all in this nation anymore. Middle America is a bunch of farmers and hunters and fishermen and, just good old boys and girls that want to, be left the fuck alone and be able to live their life.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's more of us that really ascribe to don't tread on me than they're willing to admit. Flying that yellow flag in the minds of most people, it's racist. But when you really get down to the core of it, most people just want to be left alone. And that's what that flag represents. I'm not going to mess with you. You don't mess with me. I'm going to mind my business. You mind your business. Like, to me, that's the true American way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it just baffles me how many people, say, hey, that's a racist flag. I just don't get it. Clearly, they don't understand what that flag's about. I haven't gotten any responses about that. So I'm going to move on before we get to
I just want to say, for those that don't know, How many of you out there actually know where the "Don't Tread on Me" flag comes from? Where the Gadsden flag is from?
The Gaston flag,
Because that's what it's really called.
Yeah, they tried to say it was first. The powers that be says it was like we used to be the the United Snakes of America.
No,
which is
that's
absolute
wrong.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
The Gadsden flag came from the Gadsden Gang.
Mhm.
The Gadsden Gang is the very first militia that was ever set up in the United States of America to fight against tyranny.
Numero uno. Number one. I got a couple more questions for y'all in the chat. Is Biden the most destructive president in American history?
Yes.
If you think Joe Biden is the most destructive president in American history, please put a one in the chat. I want to see some ones, man.
Well, dude, I think it's a toss-up between him and FDR. To be quite honest with you. Because FDR did a lot of damage to this country with his New Deal plan, bringing in fucking the whole Social Security scheme, and all that shit. He's the one that took us down the path of socialism on a whole new level.
Well, yeah.
He made socialist policies government policy.
He did. I definitely can't. I can't front on that. But was his activity more destructive than what we're seeing Joe Biden do? I mean,
well, yeah, he's the one that let. Well, that's. I guess that can be debated. That's debatable.
Yes, I do, Anna. I like you.
We love you, Anna.
We love you, girl. Hope to get you on the stream soon. I see you over there cheating with some other guys or some other girl. What was her name? Alice. You was on Alice's stream. You owe me one, Anna. You owe me one. You gave me your word. You were going to come over.
Oh, and by the way, shameless plugs. Make sure that everybody that's coming in here, you're hitting that like button, you're hitting that share button, you're hitting that subscribe and notification bell,
yes.
And that you're helping support your homeboys up here. We got Brother Kelly's Cash App cash tag scrolling across the bottom of the screen here if you want to help donate, and mine is $Angry Snowman 1.
Who did that? I didn't do that.
I did that.
Oh yeah, you did.
I did that because I have the power. I have the power.
All right, so I got a couple of ones. I think that Joe Biden is most destructive. We got FDR. I could think of somebody that I thought was actually more destructive. Was what's that boy name? Strom Thurmond. I thought he was destructive as hell. I was being honest, but I mean, he wasn't the president, but he was worse. He was bad. I think he was worse than Nixon, and he wasn't even a damn president. Next question: is Joe Biden a communist? Holy shit! Can we get a one? Or if you think Joe Biden is a communist, put a one in the chat. If you don't think Joe Biden is a communist, put a two in the chat. What, Snowman? Is he a commie or what, man? I mean, I see some communist shit going on. I'm just being honest.
Look, dude, I don't know if he's actually coherent enough to be a communist anymore.
I got some information yesterday, and one of my brothers told me this. They don't think Joe Biden is as dumb as he's portraying to be. They think it's an act.
Really? That's an interesting thought.
I mean, he did. He told me, he was like, brother, there's nothing wrong with Joe Biden. It's an act so he can continue to pull off the shit. But when you watch these ridiculous speeches he's been doing, he looks cognitive as hell. But when you watch him at a damn, an event or something, he looks like he's about to walk off the stage, and just eat shit right there and then fall off the stage. But when he's on these, when he's on, camera and he's actually talking to people, and of course he gaffes a few times, but he seems to be very, very aware of what it is that he is trying to put out there to the people.
Well, that's the thing about someone that's actually suffering from dementia and what do they call that, dementia? I mean, unless you've actually had any kind of real experience with it, you would think that he's making it up, but he's acting in the exact same way that someone who has full-blown dementia or Alzheimer's would act. My father-in-law, that's what he died from, was dementia, and look, dude, 3 weeks out of the month, the dude was perfectly fine. You know, sometimes 4 or 5 weeks out of the month, but then there'd be that 1 week where his mind and his brain was like scrambled eggs up there. You know, and it doesn't make sense. Part of you're looking at him like, dude, you got to be faking, you know, but
Right.
you know he's not, because you can see the hurt and like he always took his stuff out on me. Every time he could go into one of his dementia fits, it was always aimed and triggered at me for some reason. Probably because deep down inside he knew I could handle it, you know, rather than him going off on his sister or something. But look, dude, he telling you, that man is suffering from some kind of mental illness,
Cognitive disorder, absolutely,
for sure. It's
Small
not.
town
There's no way it's an act.
So you don't believe it's an act at all? You
No.
think it's full fledged? He's got some psychological, some
Absolutely.
cognitive going down. I like small town tourists. He said Joe Biden is a vegetable. Okay. Point Fire says he's a commie. Sugar Baby. I can't even read it. I'm too far away from the big screen.
It says, but we can't really compare because Biden's only had 2 years so far. FDR's policies during his time in office, we've been able to see how destructive they actually are decades later. Yeah, and FDR was the only president to serve 5 terms.
Definitely got away with one.
Well, no, prior to FDR, there were no term limits. He's the reason why they put in term limits.
All right, we're going through the chats here before we move on to the next segment. Bam, Mile High. You still on the reading? I meant the teleprompter because I can't see it.
Biden has injections regularly. Not my fault. What kind of injections are we talking about, Mile High? I mean, because that's kind of a vague and broad generalization right there, man. We need more specifics.
That is bad. Okay, that is flipping bad, man. We don't know what kind of injections. We need you to be specific. Put it in the chat. We need to know what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, I think I have an idea, but I want to hear you actually say it.
Oh my God. Woo.
I want you to hear. I want to see you force Brother Kelly to have to read it.
Shit. All right. Anglo Conservative says, hell yes, he's a commie. Okay. He says, hell yes. I'm with him, though. I think he's a commie, man. I can't. Everything he does is commie, bro. It's commie to me. I don't know why it's not commie to you. It's commie to me, man. Shit, I can't deny it. He's a commie.
First, you're going to read this one. This is for you. Put your glasses on, old man.
All right, it said Mile High. He says, do Biden and Paul Pelosi get the same?
And then what did Sugar Baby say right before he dropped that one?
The same kind that Paul Pelosi gets.
I think that you guys were thinking about the same kind of injections I was. You know, the penile, the penicillin, the whatever,
whatever you call it.
The BBL injections.
Holy shit! You got to be kidding me. Y'all are.
Mile High follows that up with allegedly.
Allegedly. No, he was getting poked, bro. Okay? I don't care what nobody says. He was getting the pogo stick. And, I mean, in my opinion, he was getting the pogo stick. Okay?
Yeah, I have a feeling that I have a feeling, dude, I would not be surprised if Nancy doesn't have a strap on hanging up in the closet somewhere home.
She definitely has the alien pecker strap-on collection.
He said the alien pecker, even the alien pecker,
the alien pecker, the alien pecker strap-on. She has to have it, man. There's absolutely no way she doesn't have the damn alien pecker strap-on. All right, guys. We get ready to jump into our second segment here. I don't even remember what it is.
I don't either. I forgot.
God dang it. What is it called? Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. I'll tell you guys in a second.
You never sent me the agenda like you said you were going to. You just told it to me real fast over the phone, and then I forgot.
Yeah. All right. So the second segment is all about, guess what? Chinese Communist Party.
Man,
okay.
Why we keep talking about commies?
I mean, if you're going
to be talking about the Chinese, at least get me some freaking General Tso's chicken.
Damn, fucking right. But I thought it was General Tso's cat.
General Tso's bobcat, alley cat, cooked cat,
definitely cat meat. That's not
Chinese cat.
That is I have evidence that that shit is cat.
Well, dude, when's the last time you saw a stray anything around a Chinese restaurant? You don't even find rats at Chinese restaurants.
That's what I'm talking about. They cook anything and put it on a damn skewer. Okay. So for my fellow Americans, do not eat the skewers. All right.
That teriyaki, whatever it is.
That's not chicken. All right. I'm just keeping it 100. When have you ever seen a cut of chicken look like that?
Well, that's interesting because have you ever noticed with them teriyaki chickens, they all look exactly the same on that skewer, dude. There's no way that dude's back there cutting them exactly the same every time.
That's bullshit. That is not chicken. That is probably Great Dane,
possum,
cat, rat, dog. It's something other than what we call chicken here in America. Just so y'all know, y'all are watching Real Cold Facts, even though we advertise as the Real Great Kelly Show. I just want you guys to know this. Like, we're really working on something.
Yeah.
It's going to be released here really soon. By the new year,
it will be full scale.
It'll be full blown. And I just want to thank you guys for your support in advance.
Thank you for rocking out with us and being patient with what we're doing, because what we're doing behind the scenes takes a lot of work, man. That's why.
Wow. Yeah.
We want to make sure that when we come out and we really get this going, that it's full blown, full bore, and 100% worth every penny that you guys decide that you want to provide us with. We don't want you guys to feel as though you're being gypped.
No, we don't want to gyp the people. We definitely don't want to grift. We don't want to gyp. We don't want to con anybody. I mean, you should know that's really against our MO. We're not into, telling you our rent's due, but we really just want to get high. We want to beg money from you guys.
We want to get high.
We don't do shit like that. We keep it a band over here, y'all. We're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? However, we'll get ready to jump into the Chinese Communist Party pool, baby. Put your swim trunks on. Put your bathing suits on. They planned this. All right. And when I say they, I'm talking about the communists. They plan to turn America into a communist country. It's been something that's been on the table for over 200-300 years. And I want you guys to just, get an idea of what we're talking about. I want you to see it for yourself, and that's it. I just want you to take the info. You do with the info whatever you want to do with the info. We love you guys. We thank you for, your support. Thank you for being here tonight. And we'll be right back with you to jump right into the Communist Party pool. You're watching RGKS, Real Cold Facts. Let me do that again.
Connect Incorporated, who built a communication platform called ChineseBrief.com for the Confucius Institute, was incorporated in 2002 in Michigan by Chinese immigrant Eugene Yu, who then went on to create a research and development subsidiary of Connect Incorporated in communist China, registering as a foreign national under his Chinese name with US dollars. 1 week later, Connect in Michigan begins outsourcing to communist China for election software coding, and they begin developing an entire product line of digital election software. In 2014, they were focusing on developing an election back-end server subsystem. In 2015, they filed a patent for network voting of absent electorates. This patent was then quickly transferred to a brand new company born out of the CCP's Big Tech division that specializes in elections. Connect Australia was established by Eugene Yu in 2018, and during the 2020 elections in Queensland, reporting problems were caused by coding resources being locked down in China, revealing that Australia's election software was being written by coders in Wuhan, China. According to a Chinese document entitled International Elite Entrepreneurship, the mission of Connect Incorporated is to become one of the top 50 e-commerce service providers for schools and government in the United States. A communist Chinese company quietly running election software systems out of Michigan. One would normally expect this to be a much bigger story. In November of last year, Connect received a $300,000 grant from Governor Gretchen Whitmer's team. On October 3rd, the New York Times published an article defending Connect entitled "How a Tiny Elections Company Became a Conspiracy Theory Target." The next day, Eugene Yu is arrested for suspicion of stealing poll data. He is extradited to Los Angeles, where Connect had a 5-year contract with LA County Elections. Prosecutors in Los Angeles claimed that Connect was illegally giving sensitive data to their partners in communist China. George Soros-appointed District Attorney Gascon said the investigation only involved personal information of election workers and would not impact election results. And now, Chinese spy and Connect CEO Eugene Yu's case has been sealed. FBI has reportedly vouched for him. He was released from custody, given an electronic tracking bracelet, and scheduled to report back for arraignment on November 17th, well after the U.S. elections. Meanwhile, Connect provides the software for the U.S. military's mail-in ballots. They manage polling campaigns for elections in Australia, Canada, and several areas of the United States.
If you'd have said to people in the early weeks of 2020 that the world was going to be like it is at the turn of 2022, they'd have laughed at you. They would have said that's ridiculous. You know what they would have said? We would never let that happen, right? And then 2 years later, it's all happened. And what this has done for lots and lots of people, they've got them to a stage of basically all bets are off. If this is possible, what's happened? Anything's possible. They have a timescale to 2030 for absolute transformation of human society, including the widespread connection of the human brain to artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence becomes the human mind. The script that's been unfolding since the card was played does not end now, clearly. I mean, it's pushing on. And in this script ongoing will be many, many other events, claims, and happenings that will be designed to push forward. And I've just asked people to keep this in mind, to push forward towards this Hunger Games society. Remember that structure as these events unfold. Because if you look at lockdown was economic destruction of businesses that were not in the corporate network. This is why the great corporations, the cult-owned corporations, have increased their market share massively, while small business and medium business have gone under in enormous numbers through lockdown. Lockdown was part of the creation of that dependency of the population. Because while you have independent business and independent employment, independent of the few at the top, the cultures I'll call them, then you do not have dependency, which equals control. If you can destroy that independent business network and destroy that independent income, at the same time that you are taking jobs galore from people using AI and technology, and you are bringing people into a state of dependency upon the few. So you've lost your job and you lost your business, and oh yeah, your job's gone to AI. So how are you going to put food on the table? And this is where I've been writing about this for decades. And it's now being trialed all over the world. Not trialed, it's being introduced. It's called the guaranteed income. The guaranteed income will be a pittance, relatively, that will be given to people who have no other form of income, which is increasingly more and more people. But it will come with consequences. You get your guaranteed income only if you do what you're told. So what we're looking at is, if people want to see what this Hunger Games society is supposed to look like, then look to China, because China is the blueprint on which this global system, which the era was designed to push on massively and has, China was the blueprint. And it might be worth that, because this will be part of where it goes from here. Just looking at the sequence of events that led us to where we are now in the West and indeed the rest of the world. The Mao revolution in China was a cult revolution. Mao was the cult's guy. And the whole foundation of it was to create a closed society of utter tyranny, where when the tyranny in power said this is going to happen, there wasn't a debate, it just bloody happened, which meant that they could move real fast with this system. There was some lip service to freedom, democracy, and debate, so everything could move slower in terms of moving to this dystopian system. So the idea was to incubate within China a system of mass control, not least based on AI and technology, which, when it was perfected, would be played out across the world and become the global system. So what happens, if people haven't come across it, is there are millions of surveillance cameras in every Chinese city. And AI, and by the way, the AI cutting edge that we're told is not the AI cutting edge. It's just what we're told is the cutting edge. The AI system in China is tracking and logging and monitoring people in real time, 24/7. And it's logging whether you are behaving in ways that the government wants or whether it's in ways the government doesn't want. If it's the way the government wants, you get credits. If it's not, you have them taken away. And once you reach a point where you've lost enough credits, you can't fly, you can't go on a train, you can't basically operate in mainstream society. It's a system of total control. Now, they're saying if you don't do what the government tells you to do, then you can't operate in mainstream society. You're excluded from society. Now, that's just what happens in China, because it's the Chinese system going global. The plan is this: if you don't live your life according to the carbon Bible, then you'll lose your passport as well. And if you will have known that they are bringing out credit cards now that have a carbon limit, which says once you've passed your carbon limit for the month, you can't purchase anything else with that card, right? And this is where the whole thing is moving. And eventually this currently Green Pass will morph into the social credit system of China, where your entire life will be dictated to by your behavior. And if you don't behave as the government wants, then you'll be excluded from society. We have experienced in the last 2 years in our face the techniques of human control that have been in the shadows and much more subtle, and people don't see them. It's been put on public display. And see, I said years ago, there's going to come a point where this agenda has to break the surface where people can see it. Because at some point, what they have been manipulating towards under the radar has got to break the surface if it's going to transform society. At some point, this transformation has to become obvious. And that's where we are. It's broken the surface. we're now seeing, well, more and more people are seeing, where this is heading. And it's heading into a level of human control via AI and technology that Orwell will be somewhere shaking his head and saying, God, I so understated what is happening. But in the end, again, Ted Ross, Director General of the World Health Organization, what did he say right at the start? The Chinese response is the way everyone should respond. What was the Chinese response? Draconian lockdown, which became the Western model.
Wow. Wow. Okay. You, my brother, are in the driver's seat.
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, sir. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but Ellen, before we get going, good night to you too, Odds. We appreciate you coming through.
Thank
Hope you don't forget to save this, that way you can pick up and hear the rest of this podcast tomorrow at your leisure. And we we appreciate your support, bro. That right there, what they were talking about is things that have been running through my mind for the last 2 years. It's interesting. I didn't know about that. What was that one guy's name right at the beginning that they were talking about? Because I couldn't grab my notebook fast enough to.
What was his name? Damn, I got a whole book on this fool.
Well, I found it interesting anyhow that he was the one that was responsible for the software and everything that is used for all of these voting machines.
Yep.
The military's voting machines that they use for their absentee ballots for their servicemen and women, and not just the voting machines in America alone, but also the voting machines in all of these quote unquote what they want to label democratic nations across the globe.
Yeah,
and the fact that he was protected by George Soros funded politicians.
Yep.
And there's actual a money trail leading back to Soros from these politicians that protected him, and then is even backed by the FBI. The same FBI that wants to go around and tell people that are just exercising their own constitutional rights that they're now terrorists in this country. But it's all right for some guy to set up voting booths and voting machines and write, the software for machines that are basically swaying elections one way or the other.
Not American, but his software is in our country, regulating our elections.
Right.
Unchecked.
Dude, now that I saw that about him, though, it makes more sense why you hear all over the nation, not just the nation, but all over the world, all over the globe, anywhere where there's any kind of conservative values or people that want to have freedom and liberty, that are actual really freedom and liberty minded, that you hear any threat against the left or the progressive movement is fascism, and it's the fascist state trying to come in. It makes more sense now.
Yeah, I mean,
and look, dude, the other thing they brought up is the fact that they're all of this right here was it's the framework is Maoism. It's the framework behind all of it. And what do you hear? All these little commies, all these little Anquifas, all these little terrorists here in this nation, the real terrorists. Who do you hear them who do you hear them quoting all the time? Who do you hear as their hero? Maoism.
Maoism. Yeah.
We don't want communism. We want Maoism. Maoism is different. Do you know how many of Mao's people he murdered these kids are bent. I mean, we already knew that all of this was all tied in. I mean, look, all you had to do is look at what was going on. I've told you before, and I'm sure some of these other folks have heard me say it before. If you looked at the progress of things from 2016 to now, you had a president that was elected, and I'll be honest with you, I do believe he was the last duly elected president in this nation. I really do believe he was the last president that the American people actually elected, because the establishment really didn't expect the American people to elect him.
What are you talking about? Trump?
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, I mean, that's a fact, bro. I mean, that's a fact.
I will give it that. But if you watch how it went from Russian collusion to, him trying to pull a quid pro quo with Ukraine, to him having the multiple impeachment threats, to there being the impeachment inquiry hearings that lasted however long, to the actual impeachment, the impeachment hearings itself after the inquiry, to rolling from that right into COVID. And then from COVID right into lockdowns, and from lockdowns, right, dude, you could see that this was, and what was interesting is it was all communist countries that were always being fucking brought up, and that were being touted by one side or the other as the instigator. Because look, I don't care what anybody says, how free Russia claims to be, they still have like communism in that country, as far as I'm concerned.
A little bit. They're not the former Soviet Union, but again, it's something that's been in their culture forever. Right. So you still have, the remnants of communism in existence and in full operation in that country. I 100% agree.
So for there to be Russia involved, for there to be Ukrainian involvement, for there to be Chinese involvement, I mean, and all these countries, all these nations, all these countries we're talking about are all lumped right there together.
Mm-hmm. And they're all
communists, and they're all on the same part of the globe.
Mm-hmm. And they tried to frame Trump as being, a communist supporter, but really, if you pay attention to what's happening, it was really those that were making the accusations. They're the ones that are really the true communists. And we're watching those policies play out right now in real time.
Well, they've been playing out for a while, dude. I mean, look at what's been going on with social media itself. We have been watching our freedoms and liberties in this country being eroded at a rapid rate right now. I mean, there's literally debates going on right now on social media platforms where they're debating whether or not freedom of speech should be an actually constitutionally protected act. Yes. The one thing I want people to understand, one thing I want to point out before I hand it over to you is, if you look throughout history, there is one thing that man has fought for since the entirety of written history, since the time that we've been able to take and write our thoughts down on paper and express ourselves. The one thing that we have always fought for and continued to fight for, and in a lot of cases that, lost our lives for, was the freedom to speak freely.
Yes.
That is the one right that man has always fought for, and we continue to fight for, because we still to this day really don't have free speech. It's still stifled speech. It's still monitored speech. It's still, censored speech. And that says something, that free speech is powerful. If it wasn't so powerful, they wouldn't have been trying since the beginning of time to stop it.
Right. They wouldn't want to stop what's going on. And I just want to touch on a few things. I love your perspective, and I love the fact that the video was able to help put some pieces together for you as I put my Irish music in the back, because I'm a black Irishman. Okay.
I like that.
I didn't know. So the entire revolution, it began with trying to frame a president as being bad. And once you get that dynamic, you can now impose your propagandic will on the masses. Because at this point, I think we talked about it earlier, at this point, there's no real true redemption for Trump, because the propaganda worked.
Yes.
Okay, it worked. but you don't get the revolution and you don't get the transition or the shift of power from, the free loving Americans turning them into enemies versus allowing the free loving Americans and patriots to gain ground. So you can't allow them to gain ground when you take their populist movement and you spew it over the globe as though it's some type of fascist movement. And you spoke on it. All of these countries that were involved in these accusations were all communist. Okay, every single one of them. And this is the mastery, and I'm going to use that term. This is the mastery of the communist movement. They have mastered propaganda. They've mastered manipulation. They've mastered deceit. And they know how to make these applications, and they've done it all over the globe using the same characters, George Soros, Klaus Schwab. These two individuals have been at the helm of every color revolution that has ever taken place on the globe. Every single one of them. And it's amazing to me that so many people aren't able to see what's right here in the wide open space. And it's just like David Icke said, at some point it had to come out and break the surface. We're here. We're right here in the midst of it right now. So America, I want you to understand something. We are in the midst of a communist regime, and their agenda is to bring us to our knees into total subserviency and make you serve the will of the state.
We're about to see Man in the High Tower in real life.
Oh yeah, really, this is some sci-fi stuff that we saw on television 30 years ago that we all thought was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And it's actually about to happen in real time, in our day.
And the sad thing is they're going to use our children as weapons against us.
Man, you took that right out of my head. I was about to say the sad part is that they're going to use the youth of our nation to bring it, into fruition. They can't use us because they know that we are the resistance. And I want to tell you, if you're watching this stream tonight, you're a part of this body. You are the resistance. We stand for resisting tyranny. We propagate standing against tyranny. And we
show our spaces and we use our voices so you don't have to.
So you don't have to. And if you do want to, you can join us. I mean, that's what we want to do over here. At the Real Cold Facts podcast, as far as I'm concerned, Angry Snowman 2, the Real Greg Kelly Show, all of these entities, the Angry Conservative, what we're trying to do here is to make sure that all of us are in a position to not only see what's happening, but to formulate a plan of resistance. You are the resistance, and we support you as you support us. I thought it was fascinating that, David Icke was able to come on the scene and really nail it down. He really nailed the whole thing down. Like, listen, as you laid it out beautifully. All of those things that took place from 2020 to now. And I think I titled it right. This is what they planned for. This is what they were after the entire time, was to institute a form or system of government that would bring freedom-loving subjects to their knees and to obey the state and to become objects of the state. The whole social credit score is only about, bringing you to a point where all of your actions are tracked. And then when your actions and your speech does not serve the state, then they can punish you by not allowing you to participate in the mainstream societal efforts that normal people, enjoy every single day, like being able to go to the store, and buy food, being able to go to the market to buy products, being able to travel freely. All of those things are in jeopardy.
You know what? Wasn't it you that you said that you think that the Antichrist is AI?
Yes.
And that makes sense because they said they got AI tracking and logging and monitoring everybody. Soon. Not. I mean, I'm sure it's going on right now, even here with our phones and our devices. They're tracking and logging and monitoring everybody in real time.
Yes.
And then they're wanting to use the social credit score as what? A way to either you comply or you are not able to participate. Does that not sound like the mark?
Yeah, that's the mark, brother. That is the mark for all of my, Bible readers. If you want to know what the mark is, this is it. You just got a glimpse of it. This is the mark. It's about, e-commerce. You won't be able to buy, sell, any goods. You won't be able to participate in just the normal functions of society.
In modern society, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really eye opening, and it's scary. But again,
and well, look, it makes even more sense why China's been buying up America's debt bonds for the last 4 or 5 decades now.
Yeah, and why they own so much farmland, because they want to control. If you could control,
China really does have
the people.
Yeah, they are. If you think about it, right now, if China wanted to, they could bring America to their knees, just with how much control and power they have over our economy.
Yes. Want to give a shout out to Broken Patriot, new subscriber. I appreciate you, brother. You already know I'm subbed over on your channel. I was over there the other night talking to you guys. Haven't gotten an email yet, but I'm hoping you guys reach out to me so we can help you and in the way that we can. Hopefully, you guys are partnering with us and help us as well. I mean, we love Americans, man. I mean, Broken Patriot and what him and Michelle are doing over there on their podcast, man, it's really good. If you haven't checked those guys out,
I'm actually subbing to them right now as we speak.
Yeah, please, man, go over there and give those guys a sub. Over there, everybody, go over, get Broken Patriot. I forgot the name of their podcast. AC, will you please put Broken Patriots podcast? Him and Michelle, will you put the link in the chat so everybody can go over and get those guys a sub? Man, they're doing great work over there. Doing a really good job. Really, really good job. Brother, was that a heavy ass video or what, man? Brother. Man. I watched this and I'm like, Snowman gonna love this joint and he's gonna have a lot to say about this. And bro,
dude, I mean, you weren't lying. You told me you had something special for me tonight, and I'm just saying, there's so much there. I mean, that everything that they laid out and unpacked. I mean, it's literally all the stuff that I've been sitting, dude. It's like that episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's actually like the whole series of Black Mirror all rolled into one. What we're living right now. I mean, let's keep it real. And that's the other thing that blows my mind is they're literally. I know people find it hard to believe that it's not just a coincidence, but they're literally telling us in these films and TV series what they're planning on doing. They're literally laying it out right in front of us.
Yeah, they are, man.
I mean, because it happens too frequently for it to be a coincidence. I'm just saying. I know there's a lot of people that think that when you go down that road that it's conspiracy minded and this, that, and the third. Well, I'll just put it like this. Just remember who the people are who gave you that term conspiracy theory to begin with.
That's very important. Yes. Remember who gave you that. Remember.
It's the same people that support and defend the very man who gave us the technology and software to make our voices not be able to be heard on ballot day, on election day.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And see, that's the other thing, that's another thing that really needs to be addressed. The fact that we as Americans should be able to sit and have free and open debate about anything we choose in this country. Plain and simple. There are not any restrictions on discussion. There's not supposed to be. The government's not supposed to abridge our right to have free and honest discussion about any topic whatsoever. But that goes to show you these social media platforms that we thought were ours, that we thought that we built, that we helped become and mold into what they aren't American. They belong to communist China.
They do.
Communist China has put their software, their social media, and soon their social credit score, and it looks like they're freaking their claws right in American soil.
Systems, they're bringing to us things that will enslave us, and it's not American made. 100% agree with you.
Dude, we all saw the videos of people over in China during the lockdowns getting their doors welded shut,
Yep.
People getting tased, people getting
Yep.
beat,
People
getting
jumping out of windows.
water. Yeah, they were taking fire hoses and folding people in half with them over there.
Yeah. Bringing tanks to the bank so people couldn't get their money out of the banks. They seized all of their assets. It seized all of their assets, all of them.
If we don't do something soon, they're going to make it to where American troops are going to be able to openly carry weapons and engage American citizens on American soil. And they will do it because they have been told that that's their job.
Yes, they have. Hey, Angry Conservative, I appreciate you putting American Warriors link in the chat. You guys go give that lovely young lady and Broken Patriot a sub, man. Y'all have to do that. They're fighting a good fight as well. Well, I consider them partners in our liberty. Make sure you go over and get those guys a sub. I would greatly appreciate it. Support those channels, man. They're doing a hell of a job over there. Absolutely cannot be denied that they're true American freedom loving, YouTubers. Got to do it. We have to support those that support the Constitution and those that support American freedom. We got to do that. Just can't be any other way. All right, we got one more segment, y'all. One more. And we're going to bring an end to this stream. We've been going for 1 hour and 40. We're going to do 2 hours, maybe a little bit more, maybe not. But again, shout out to everybody that's here with us tonight, sharing in this experience. Man, that was one hell of a fucking video. Lord, I just dropped the F-bomb, and I'm sorry, I'm working on my tongue. That was one hell of a video, man. That was. Oh, that was a hell of a video.
Just so everybody knows, one of the other plans is once we get the podcast really up in full scale, we plan on keeping these shows between 1 hour and 2 hours, but we will have a members only section to where members only can do an after show, after stream with us. That is a plan, So in order for us to be able to get that members only, we need to be able to we need to start getting our sub count up. That way we can have an after stream discussion with all you guys that just want a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. All right, we're going to transition. We're going to go into our final segment. It is a message from Donald J. Trump. I want you to give me your honest opinion on what he says. Snowman, I definitely want to know what you think about what is being said up here. Hey, and I don't really care what you say. I just want your honest opinion. That's it.
Are you sure do you think the people could handle my honest opinion? Because I'm a very, very, very critical person when it comes to him.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's worth having a discussion. I'll admit in the beginning, I was like, okay, this guy Snowman is a straight Trump hater. But, I've also had my, questions about him. But again, I also recognize that he's just a man. He's not this God that everybody wants to, people want to deify him. I don't agree with that, but we're going to get a message from him and a perspective from him also. But remember, guys, things are going to change around here. It's going to be real cold facts real soon. And we want to thank you in advance for your support. We want to thank you for the support that you've been showing us. Again, I cannot let you forget Broken Patriot, American Warriors. Go over there, man, and check out their material. Make sure you give those guys a sub. Make sure you do the same thing for Angry Conservative, Happy Hour, the Allen and Misfits. Make sure you go over there and check AC out, man. He's doing a great job. Y'all watching the Real Greg Kelly Show. We're going to take a quick pause for the calls. We'll be right back with you with our final segment. We do love you. We definitely appreciate what you do. We appreciate you being here and sharing this experience with us. We'll be right back here shortly.
We are standing up against some of the most sinister forces, entrenched interests, and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. You could say our country has never seen anything like it. But no matter how big or powerful these corrupt radicals may be, You must never forget our nation does not belong to them. Our nation belongs to you. America is on the edge of an abyss, and our movement is the only force on earth that can save it. This movement right here. The fake news, they never even question it because there's never been anything like it. Our MAGA movement is by far the greatest political movement in the history of our country. And you know what it really stands for? Loving our country. That's all it is. The job that's been done is unbelievable. You are the loyal defenders of our heritage, our liberty, our culture, our Constitution, and our God-given rights. You never stop fighting for America, and I will never, ever stop fighting for you. Won't happen. I think we have to do what we have to do to bring our nation back, right? We have to run aggressive, unrelenting, and boldly populist campaigns. Populist, we want to be populist. We want to love our country. That's what we're about. This is no time for complacency. We cannot be complacent. Our country is being destroyed more from the inside than out. Frankly, like never before. And just hope that the recession doesn't turn into a depression, because the way they're doing things, it could be a lot worse than a recession. Because what you've seen in the past might be small potatoes compared to what happens. So be very, very careful. You remember when I was campaigning, I used to say, not thinking this could even be very possible, but it always had a chance. It will be Venezuela, large scale, or Venezuela on steroids. That's what's happening to our country. It's not even thinkable. And we have to throw off the shackles of globalism and reassert two very important words. You know what the words are? America first. It's a very simple thing. We have to put our country first. We had that done, and we were doing great. We have to take this chance to shatter the corrupt Washington establishment once and for all. We have to seize this opportunity to deal with the radical left, socialist lunatics and fascists, and we have to hit them very, very hard. It has to be a crippling defeat because our country cannot take it. And they're not finished yet. You know, they still have a little time left, because now they have an excuse to do whatever they're doing. And I will tell you, it would have never, ever happened in a million years under Trump. I can tell you that. Under the Trump administration, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had no inflation. We had no inflation. It was just, nobody could even believe it. We gave you the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in American history. After the pandemic, we handed the radical Democrats the fastest economic recovery ever recorded, the history of our country ever recorded. We created the safest border in U.S. history by far. By far. And we created a thing called Space Force. They smiled at it. Remember the first day they laughed at it? Oh, Space Force. They thought they were going to end it. And the public went crazy because you people know much more than they do. I rebuilt our military, including our nuclear capability. And we hope to God we never have to use it. We were going to be energy dominant. Now the United States is becoming a beggar for energy. We're begging. And the labor force participation is the worst in many, many decades. That's the number that you have to look at. And now it's the worst border ever in history. There's never been a border like it, and that includes, in my opinion, third world countries, because there's no third world country that would allow millions of people to pour in. They have no idea. And the number of people coming in, that's not 3 million, 4 million. In my opinion, it would be anywhere from 10 to 15 million people. This year, 10 to 15 million people. We have no idea who the hell they are. That's when we become Greece. That's when we become a country that's unsalvageable. And we're going to be there very soon. We're going to be there very soon. That was a lesson for us all. But what happened? We're trying to figure out what the hell happened. Where did this new philosophy come from all of a sudden? They surrendered our strength and our everything. Our dignity. Our country is being systematically destroyed, and everybody knows it. Job number one for the next Congress and the next president will be to restore public safety. Every American of every background deserves to live in safety and in peace. Every American. Savage criminals are being released on cashless bail to continue their violent rampages against the United States of America. A tremendous indicator of what's happening in our country. If they'd use the same energy to go and make our country great, it would be an incredible thing, but I don't know if they can do that. Another key priority for the next Congress and the next president will be to drain the swamp once and for all. We can't do it anymore. We got to run this country properly. To remove rogue bureaucrats and root out the deep state, Congress should pass groundbreaking reform, empowering the president to ensure that any federal employee who is corrupt, incompetent, or unnecessary for the job can be told, "You're fired." You ever hear that? You're fired. Prosperity and prestige will come back, and it'll come back strongly. Victory cannot come a moment too soon. We will restore patriotic education to our schools. And we will teach our children to love their country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And Common Core. Common Core it is a disaster. Education has to be local. This is your heritage, and our American liberty is your God-given right. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down, because we are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, including all of the hardworking activists who dedicate their lives to preserving a thing called American freedom. They're incredible people. Because faith is lifting up our souls, American pride is beating in our hearts, and pure, unflinching courage is coursing through our veins. We want to talk about greatness for our country. We don't want to talk about the things we've been talking about. What have we been talking about? COVID, the environment. The sea is going to rise 1/100th of an inch within the next 300 years. And it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again. We want to talk about greatness. We really do have to get going. Because believe me, we're in a bubble. We have artificially low interest rates. We have a stock market that frankly has been good to me, but I still hate to see what's happening. We have a stock market that is so bloated. Be careful of a bubble. We have people that don't have it. We have people that are morally corrupt. We have people that are selling this country down the drain. We have to rebuild our infrastructure, our bridges, our roadways, our airports. You come into LaGuardia Airport, it's like we're in a third world country. Rebuild the country's infrastructure. Nobody can do that like me, believe me. Now, I'm not doing that to brag, because you know what? I don't have to brag. I don't have to, believe it or not. I'm doing that to say that that's the kind of thinking our country needs. We need that thinking. We have the opposite thinking. You look at these airports, we are like a third world country. And I come in from China, and I come in from Qatar, and I come in from different places. And they have the most incredible airports in the world. We have losers. We have losers. What they do is unbelievable. How bad? Sadly, the American dream is dead. My fellow Americans, this incredible journey we are on together has only just begun. This is your home, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again by making the United States, by making us rich again, by taking back all of the money that's being lost, and strengthen our military and take care of our vets. So important. We will make America safe again. Fully support and back up the Second Amendment. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America united again. And we will make America great again.
We need that.
Brother Kelly.
Oh my God.
I needed to come and send a small message. I had to steal it from Snowman for a minute. I know that the people of the planet Earth, they're in hard times right now. Just remember, you cannot put your faith in one man. Because, sure enough, that man you put your faith in will always fold to worldly possessions and worldly things. As much as I've seen that Trump does good things, just remember, he still has yet to look at you guys and take personal accountability for his part he played in the pandemic and the lie that was sold to all of you March 16th, 2020. And I'll leave you with that.
I appreciate it, Optimus. And you ain't took responsibility for losing the damn spark. Sit your ass down. Nah, that's a good message though, for real. Hey Sydney, how you doing? I just wanted to share that with you guys, man, to give you some hope. America's not lost yet. Closing remarks though.
I'm tired of aliens taking over my stuff.
Yeah, we got to find out where the hell Optimus came from, man. How the hell did he get in here?
Better him than Megatron, because Megatron's done it before too, man.
He might would have shot us. I do, man. I just wanted to share that with you, to give you a perspective of, you know, what we really believe in. It's not even about the man that spoke the words, but the words are true. That's what we stand for, man. Like we stand for freedom. We stand for energy independence. We stand for the greatness of this country and the independence of this country. We stand for that. I mean, there's no other way to be. There's no other place to stand. If you're not standing there, you're standing for the enemy. And at that point, you're no longer American. Point blank, period.
I know that look, man, I know myself, and I know all you guys you're tired. You know, you're mentally fatigued. You're emotionally fatigued. You're spiritually fatigued, you know, and it feels like everything's constantly coming, and it never stops. It ain't even in waves anymore. It's just a constant attack on all of your senses. We as a people are the only people that are going to save us. Nobody's coming to help us. Nobody. And we have to remember that. All these people that we're fighting and feuding and squabbling with every day, those are our brothers, our sisters, our aunts, our uncles, our parents, our grandparents, our children, our cousins, our neighbors. You know? And the reason why they're doing what they're doing is they know that there's going to be a good part of this country that ain't going to be able to fight against someone they love when it comes to saving this country and saving this nation and saving everything we hold dear. That's why they're using our children against us. That's why the fight for our children right now is such a huge movement. Everybody sees it. I know you all see it, that it's like they moved the attack away from us, and now they're focusing on our children. First it was our college kids, then it was our high school kids, then it was our middle school kids. Now it's our babies that are in daycare and in and preschool and in kindergarten. They're trying to completely just destroy any kind of faith that our children have in us, because they know that you're not going to raise up arms against your own children. They've seen it play out time and time again. Every one of those school shootings. How many times did Americans come and beg the government to please do whatever it takes, even if it means taking our liberties away, to stop this from happening? Because they know that that's where the fight ends. We ain't going to fight our own kids. We need to, for the love of God, we need to stop letting all these petty things that matter not to anybody. I mean, it's really all trivial stuff. How many of these things that we sit and get into heated debates, get into heated discussions, get into big arguments and feuds that cause, family to split and for best friends to stop talking to each other? How many of these things literally actually affect you in your daily life? These things that they got us thinking that are important, that matter, that aren't important at all, that mean nothing. Why do you care what's going on in Hollywood? Why do you care why Kanye had this done or that done? Why do you care? Why does it matter if somebody doesn't like someone because of the color of their skin? Why does it matter? Does it affect you? All these things, it's all meant for one reason and one reason only, and that's to push divide. The easiest thing to do is to divide a bunch of people, especially in a nation full of nations.
Oh, yeah.
America is so young, folks, so young. We are the youngest superpower on this planet. We are the youngest empire on the face of the earth. We have created more innovation than any other place on the earth, and we are the youngest. They want you and everyone else convinced that this country is hate-filled and full of rage and contempt and malice towards people that don't look like you or me or the person next to you. They want you to believe that America doesn't stand for anything other than death and destruction. We don't know what America has yet to stand for. We know what we stand for: freedom, liberty, the right to be able to live the way you want, as long as what you're doing doesn't infringe or harm anyone else. What's wrong with that? How is that causing problems with anybody? I don't care if you want to go out and sit and preach your communist rhetoric or your socialist propaganda. It doesn't matter to me at all. Just don't stop me from speaking what comes from my heart. Because if I can protect and defend you saying the things that I disagree with, why can't you sit and be silent when it's my turn to speak? It's time for people to just open their eyes and see what we're supposed to see and do what we're supposed to do. The lines are drawn. Are we going to fight each other? Or are we going to fight the people trying to steal our wealth from us and trying to steal our resources from us and trying to steal our children and our grandchildren and our grandchildren's children's futures away from them? What's more important? Whether or not women are equally represented in movies, or the possibility of your grandchildren being able to have a great future? What's more important? Whether or not somebody's allowed to say a hateful, mean comment online or whether or not your children and grandchildren got the opportunity to maybe make America even greater than what we ever imagined.
Facts.
I mean, it's pretty clear that most Americans today ain't willing to step up and give whatever it is they need to give for themselves. But are you willing to step up and give everything, give all, risk it all for your children and for your grandchildren and for the rest of your future lineage, for the children that are coming from your bloodline that you haven't even met yet? Are you willing to risk it all for them? Our time's almost over, but their time is just beginning.
Yeah. I can't even come back behind that, America. Y'all heard it here. Words of wisdom from the Snowman. Hey, we salute y'all. We thank you for being here tonight. Just gonna let the music play, man, and hey, we love you. Stay free. Stay poised. Stay American. We will catch y'all next time. We are out of here. Real cold facts.